Welcome family tree. We're going to get into a little bit of movement research based on incorporating a little bit of flow, autonomy of movement, combined with a few technical details and concepts with which you can chop and screw, pick and mix a little bit to give you just the freedom of exploration. For our first movement, it's actually going to serve as a little bit of a warm-up into all of this. So we're actually going to find a nice wide base, and it's going to serve as a little bit of moisturizing around the hips, connected into the hips and towards the ground. And our anchor for this first aspect is going to be our Cossack squat. Almost like a half squat in one leg with the opposite leg out extended. And we're going to just play with the transitions from here, low and high. And really let your personality and your character of your Cossack show up. Sometimes it might feel nice to lift the toes up. This will engage into the hamstring a little bit more, as opposed to the inner thigh as the foot's flat. Maybe it feels a bit more comfortable to let the heel lift up, to feel a bit safer into the shape. Really let the personality of your anatomy show up here as we move left and right. We don't have to be too dogmatic in this, because through consistency, we will build up a little bit of more space and scoop through the boundaries of the movement a little bit more, which is what we're doing here. We're kind of just now seeing all the spaces in between. Feel free to play with the texture of the movement, the sort of like elemental quality of the movement, the pace, the dynamic. Again, variations of the anchor, but still using Cossack squat to always kind of anchor back into before we come out. And as you come back into, just to give us clarity in our movement. So, once you've kind of really explored all the boundaries of where the body can go here, let's give a little bit of technique into chopping and screwing the Cossack. So, for the first variation, we're going to find this half squat. We'll bend into the left leg, straighten through the right leg. And from here, we're just going to actually reach over the straight leg. And here, to freehand, the more we extend through the arm, the more it's going to help lift up through as we push through the foot of the bent leg. So I reach through the arm, push through the leg, and always come into this like 3-leg downward facing dog, and just draw the thigh all the way into the chest, plant the foot down, and we're back through with clarity into our anchor. So again, on the other side, as I reach over the side of the straight leg, the trailing hand really reaches to help pick up that foot from behind. Plant the foot down, and we're back into our Cossack territory. Another variation we're going to add, same but different, is going to be sort of an inside scoop now. So it's exactly the same reach. The hand comes over, but it's a little bit easier here because now we're based through opposite hand and opposite foot to scoop the straight leg underneath. Big hip yawn as we bend into the knee, and then we're just going to guide that foot down. Notice we're back straight into the anchor of our Cossack. So again, on the other side, as I reach the hand over, pressing through opposite hand and foot, I squeeze the leg up, open into the hip, and guide the foot down towards the floor. And that's going to be our second variation there. So once you feel comfortable with those, we're just going to combine them all. From this as a little bit of a flow state to come away from the technicality sometimes, but whenever you want to arise, see where the transitions of our outside scoop and our inside scoop start to show up. And we can combine them, let them show up whenever they need to. Play with just having a breather out of those transitions. And there you go. Movement research 1. Let yourself mull that over a little bit, maybe 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. Get really bored of doing the same transitions and see where you can actually start to highlight your own habits and patterns to break them apart again, to give you a little bit more freedom in exploration. So for our ground-based exploration here, nice and close to the floor work, the skill we're going to use is around the clock. So we're just going to start in a reclined butterfly position through the legs. And nice and easy for this one, letting one foot release and trace towards the opposite hand. Almost like we're catching the foot with the hand, but not quite, and bringing it back to the foundation. Making sure to alternate each side. And here we're actually just getting used to being a little bit softer into the body and feeling a little bit heavier into the floor. And the heavier we feel into the floor, sometimes just the more elastic and responsive the body can be, which gives a little bit of a smoother texture. For the next layer we're going to add into this is just continuing the motion. So as the foot sweeps down and across, tapping the foot towards the hand, it's going to create almost a knock-on effect for that hand to reach all the way up. We land in our prone star position and retracing the steps back. So we're just mirroring and rewinding ourselves back into the original shape. So foot across the hand, continue that circular motion to the belly, and then rewind, just so we can really reverse engineer the movement, because it's going to lend itself to the next transition, which is a full rotation through. So instead of mirroring, we're actually just connecting the dots in towards the other side. So as I sweep the leg round and down, knock-on effect, continue that motion back into our butterfly for that full rotation, like so. And then when that feels really familiar, really comfortable, loosey-goosey baby, you kind of just let it trace all the way around, nice and soft into the body. Have a few one way, a few the other way. Making sure the hands aren't getting stuck to the floor, but soft placement of the body. It's really fun to do. You can just keep going until maybe you get a bit too dizzy and soften there. Whew. Another detail that can be really useful for this one is coming out of the shape, so it doesn't feel clumsy into our transitions. Really nice way to come out of the shape is once we are on the back, just letting one arm trace up. It's almost going to come towards the ear, and as we do that, it's going to send, it's like it's sending a message to our head and our whole body to follow that direction. So as the arm scoops up, it locks, we keep reaching, and we come up through our seat, which gives us options, really nice options to build up into our anchor of the Cossack. So again, I'll find the other side here. Can trace that arm up, which sends the body that same direction, reaching through that arm, and then we're up into our junction, like so. So connected to the around the clock, can be sweeping around, and when we're bored of this movement, let the arm bring us into our Cossack position. Here, bloody hell. Okay, so let's do a few cartwheels. The third layer here is going to be some soft acrobatic portions, and the foundation of this is going to be our cartwheel. If cartwheel is a little bit more unfamiliar to you, if you're in a smaller space, it's okay. If anything, if we're in a smaller space, at home or something like that, it's going to make us a little bit more sensitive into where the body's going, which is what we want as well, to build that detail. So for a few warm-up motions, for those that are unfamiliar with this, a really nice little mantra that I like to use with my students is hand, reach, hop, and land. Hand, reach, hop, and land. And then when we get really comfortable with that, just play with the same effort being pushed through the hands squeezing and the shoulders pushing, but playing with the variation of the legs. Hand, reach, hop, and land. Hand, reach, hop, and land. Hand, reach, hop, and land. Really just playing with that. Now the twist of this, really, really nice variation of this movement actually. It's going to be our front-facing Jaguar. And it's even easier actually. We can think about this as we come into a tripod base with our hands, both hands on the floor and one foot fixed to the floor. Just to get the movement and the motion, we just hop one foot across, hop the foot across, hop and hop, hop and hop. After a few of those, so doing both legs, really, really important, is taking the exact same motion of hand, reach, hop and land, but this time, even easier, just using a single leg hop. So as I reach, hand, reach, exactly like we've just done, hop and land. Few little details that we can play with here. See if you can start facing this direction. This is going to give us clarity into the space in between. So we start facing this way and we finish facing this way. So as I reach, hop across, step the foot round. If the momentum takes you round a little bit further, it's nice. It can be a nice transition as well. So same thing here on the other side. Hand, reach, hop, and land. Back into base, back into anchor, which gives us options for when we start to connect things. What we can also play with here is taking the reach a little bit further. So instead of going laterally, can almost kind of reach behind, but it's the exact same thing. Hand, reach, hop, and land. Notice we start facing one way and finishing facing the same way. Hand, reach, hop, and land. Hand, reach, hop, and land. So that's our front Jaguar, using those two acrobatic layers to combine them all. As we start to explore all three layers and piece them together, really let the anchor for spontaneity and for decision making, maybe just for now, reside into our wide leg position and our transitions from Cossack. So this here, like we did in the warm-up, gives us familiarity and it gives us time to still remain within the task and the research and give us a little bit more mental freedom to have a decision as to where we want to go into transitions, rather than stopping going, oh yeah, this one. Give yourself a little bit of an anchor, and then through repetition, through familiarity, we can start to explore even more flow between different layers, but just letting it all kind of blossom out from here. So then, this can be the pull, whether we go high or low. Being high might be our acrobatics, our cartwheel, maybe the Jaguar, which is our quality and our junction, into coming high. Maybe the junction serves within the foundation of the Cossacks. And then, as we're closer to the ground, maybe around the clocks. Always letting the transitions through repetition bleed from one into the next. Notice if you have any habits or a natural inclination to go the same direction. For me, I tend to lead with left leg dominant when I'm trying to move into different transitions. So in that research, in that repetition, I'm going to start to spotlight and notice if I'm continuously going one direction to find a junction, which is ultimately stifling us a little bit and inhibiting our actual whole conversation of the body. So through repetition, you might start to notice really sneaky, it might be subtle differences, like every time I bend into this leg, my feet are like this, but every time I'm in this leg, my feet are like this. Noticing where we can start to build a little bit of symmetry, which opens us up so much more, and into building into more technical movements as well, to find or to bridge the gap between the dominant and least dominant sides. So again, in the research, notice if I'm always kind of going this way, where can I still use that as the opportunity to go onto a new side. So, happy research. Hope you enjoyed. Love, love, love family tree. If there's any questions or feedback or anything, just ask away, drop a comment, give a little bit of a like. I can't believe I just said that. I can't believe I just said need to cut that out. Anyway, happy exploring. Why did I mess up the ending? After all of that, I've already filmed this once before, but I accidentally zoomed in. So it was just like this part of my body and just the wall. Anyway, let's try that again. Peace, guys. Love.